The Joe Rogan Experience.
Well, didn't Google buy Boston Dynamics as well? They bought a robot company. I know that. Which is like, what are you guys planning? You can control everybody's email. You have the #1 search engine on the planet Earth. You have the #1 browser. Like, what are you guys doing? What are you doing over there?
Yeah.
You making robots?
But don't you want to be in the room?
Yeah.
You
You
know?
want to be in the room, but some of their choices are a little bit questionable. It's there's so much. There's science, but then there's so much. There's social decisions, that they're making in terms of like what people get to see and talk about and hear, and a lot of it is based on the zeitgeist. It's based on the current state of politically correct ideology, what you can and can't say or can and can't do, and that becomes really dangerous because you're kind of controlling information, you're throttling information. Like Tulsi Gabbard is suing Google for what is it, like $50 million or something crazy like that. They say that they purposely stifled her search engine results so that people wouldn't be able to find her as easily. And she's apparently proven it.
Wow.
Excuse me. So it's not a pure information-based company. There's ideology behind it. There's motivations behind it that, politically leaning motivations.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
They
when
do
he
a lot
goes
of great
into that,
shit, though.
when
I
he
love
goes into
them.
that world, I'm like, you forget about that sometimes when you're like, I want to be in the breakthrough rooms, Well,
there was an internal memo where they were referring to Ben Shapiro and someone else. I think it was Jordan Peterson and maybe Dennis Prager as Nazis, which is hilarious because both Ben Shapiro and Dennis Prager are both Jewish. So it's like their perception of who a person is. This was brought up. This is brought up by people in Congress. Like they had to have hearings on it. They're trying to figure out like what is Google doing? Like what are you allowed to? How are you allowed to define people internally in your memos? And then, of course, once you call someone a Nazi, then you can act as if they're a Nazi and stifle any sort of search on them or stifle results or point people in the direction that you think would be better for humanity versus just pure information. And it gets very weird, But as a technology company, look, they're amazing. Like just what they're doing with Android and Google searching and Google Assistant and Google Maps is by far the superior map application on the planet Earth, and it's constantly getting better and constantly gathering up new information. I mean, part of me loves the fact that they exist, and part of me is like, that is too much power. That's too much power for one company to be able to influence people one way or the other.
So what's the Joe Rogan solution to something like that? Regulations?
No, well, I'm too stupid for this. I need to rely on people that have actually spent real time studying the effects and understand it from a very deep level. I don't. I understand that it's problematic. I just don't understand what the solution is, and I don't know if it's just a free distribution of information across the board, because then what do you do about actual Nazis? Like if you find there's a new Hitler and he arises and he really does want to exterminate the Jews, what happens there? Do you just allow that guy to be on Google? Is he on Google Hangouts with a little Nazi hangout? They're planning on exterminations and where's the next Auschwitz? No, I don't think that shouldn't be the case.
Exactly.
No. So what is the case? Do you allow white supremacists on there to organize rallies? Fuck. Where does freedom of speech end? It's very complicated questions that we're all learning to navigate.